McQuaide here. We're out on NorthRiver Lake up in Nottingham, New Hampshire. We just got back from the high school nationals on Kentucky Lake. We didn't do too hot, but we're out here and we got on them pretty good. Our biggest 5 this morning were about 17.5 pounds. So I'm going to show you what we got them on. First bait right here. This is an outcast finesse jig. 3/16 ounce black and blue. And we got a VCL Baits Vandalizer on the back, and that's also in black and blue. And this was good for skipping up under docks and fishing the outside edges of the weeds. It's just a little more finesse bite for these fish that they don't seal up. The second bait's another outcast jig. This is an outcast RT jig, about a 1/2 ounce in black and blue. And the trailer on there, if you can see it, is a maxed out baits hog. It's like a little beaver style bait with a little more crawdad in it. And that was good for really flipping up into the weeds and into the brush and give us I got a medium heavy 7-foot rod out here, so when we hooked up we could get them out easier than with the spinning reel. The final lure, everyone's seen it. This is a maxed out baits idiot stick. It's just like you've seen the Yamamotos and the Yum Dingers out there on the market. It's just like this. This one's a lot more affordable, but definitely still catches some fish. This was, again, skip it way back under docks, fish it around the edges of the lily pads, and that would get bit. Wouldn't get the quality that the 2 jigs were getting, but we got 30 fish on it in the past 4 or 5 hours, so definitely catches numbers. Alright, we're going to show you how we were using these baits today. Alright, we're out in a little protected pocket targeting these largemouth. This is the finesse jig I was telling you about. We got it on a spinning reel. Spinning rod, 6 foot, 6'6", medium action. We got 10-pound braid connected to a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. And we're just casting it out right along the lily pads. We're just letting it sit. We're shaking it a little bit, letting it fall. Just typical jig fishing. We're going to work it back. Nothing there. We're going to reel it in. We're going to cast again. A little perch chasing it back. That's how most of the bites have been coming on the first fall. That's how we're going to get them. Right here, this is the heavier, the 1/2 ounce RT jig. And this wouldn't be a spot we were throwing them. We're just doing it for the fact that the spot we were fishing it's torn up by pleasure boaters right now, but we're fishing in real thick weeds. We're just flipping it out. That was a bad guess. We're just flipping it out. There we go. We're just flipping it out. Just letting it fall through the weeds. And then we're just shaking it until we get bit. And then we're popping it a couple times. Nothing there. We're reeling it in. We're casting again. And finally, the idiot stick. This is just, you probably already know how to fish it already. It's hard not to. It's called the idiot stick for a reason. Reeling it in, we're throwing it out. Real good for skipping. You can skip it up under those trees. And you're just going to let it sink all the way down to the bottom. You're going to pull it up. Nothing there. And you're just going to let it sink. And like I said with the jig before, we're not working these baits all the way back to the boat. We're really target-oriented fishing. So if you don't get up, if you don't get hit right away, you reel it in, you make another cast. Alright, we're going to see if we can get some for you. There you go. Take a good one. Go. This was on maxed out baits idiot stick. This one, it's another good fish. This one's probably about 4 pounds, give or take. I don't have a scale on me, but solid fish. We're gonna let him go. This was on the idiot stick. We're gonna throw that big jig around, see if we can get any more. This is a good one. it is, this fish. This fish is well over 5. Like I told you before, way back in these lily pads. Thank you for flipping it in. I'll show you the jig in a second. This is the same one as before. 1/2 ounce RT outcast jig, maxed out baits, pog hog, black and blue. I'll let this girl swim away. Catch her again when she's 6. Max McQuaide here. We're back out on NorthRiver Lake today. Big front came through, not sure if you can see it, and the bite's been tough. It's not like it was yesterday. Got real cool last night, a lot of wind, and we just got a lot of rain. So the largemouth bite wasn't as good as it was yesterday. We didn't get any of those big ones. I think our biggest was almost 3 pounds, but nothing huge. But we were able to come out. You can see over here these bluff walls, and there's a nice steep drop, and we're able to get on some good smallmouth today. So I'll show you what we're throwing today. The first bait, I love to throw it. It's a outcast tackle spider grub. 1/4 ounce football jig head, nice sharp hook, and we were throwing it out right up on top of the drop and just hopping it back down. We're able to get some good smallmouth and some good largemouth. Ryan got a largemouth about 3 pounds doing that a couple hours ago. The other bait, we're doing the same thing. We were able to fish this. We were fishing this a little shallower though. This is a swinging jig head. It's like you've probably all seen the Tommy Biffle jig heads. This one's made by a buddy of mine, Bruce Burns at More Better Jigs. And what we got on it is a VCL Baits J Riv Craw. And this little crayfish is just phenomenal. Imagine, I know we all love the Chigga Craw, and it's just like the Chigga Craw, only it's got a little more action in the claws and it's just durable as heck. I've already caught, just on this one crayfish you're looking at, I just caught 3 smallmouth on it. So it holds up real well. You can look at 4 to 5 fish a bait probably. And this, probably the whole weekend, was accounting for most of our fish. Largemouth and smallmouth alike. And finally, the last bait we were throwing out for these smallmouth and largemouth out here, but mostly smallmouth, is a drop shot. And we're throwing this 3/16 ounce. This is also a More Better Jigs drop shot weight. And we're throwing a 2/0 EWG hook with a maxed out baits shaky head worm. And this is a color, this is white with blue blue flakes, because there's a lot of wild shiners in here, and me and Ryan came out last night and we saw these guys sitting out here with their grandchildren. They were throwing live shiners down here and just smoking the smallies. They were big shiners too, so we came out here trying to match it as best as we could with the big white worm and the blue flakes. And this was real good for once fishing it in the same areas. Once we came through with the spider grub and the crawdad, we would come back through here and just slow down with that drop shot. And just each cast would probably last in 30-45 seconds, just sitting there shaking it, and we'd get some good smallmouth. So we're going to show you how to throw those in a second and then see if we can get any fish for you. Alright. Alright, this is the first bait. This is the spider grub I just showed you. Show you how we're fishing this. You can see right over here, we're in a real steep drop. That rock you can see is come out of the water. We're sitting in about 18, 19 feet right now. So what we're doing is we're throwing it up, letting it fall, back off, and we're just shaking it and popping it. Letting it sit and shaking it and popping it and dragging it down this drop. And the smallies are sitting right about halfway back to the bank, just waiting for something to come down so they can feed, and that's what we're bringing it right to them. So that's been working well on our first pass, and then we'd come back. If we didn't get bit, or if we got a couple and then stopped getting bit, we'd change it up just a little bit with this crawdad. And I showed you the swinging jig head does most of the work for you. We're gonna come, we're gonna fling it out there, and we're just gonna let it sit again. Let it sink to the bottom, and same thing, we're just gonna shake it. Just shake it, just traditional like you'd fish a football jig almost. You shake it, you hop it, let it sit, you shake it, maybe drag it, and then you let it pause. One of the keys to the crawdads we were throwing yesterday, we were throwing all black blue and it was working, but my little brother was down at the dam catching crawdads. I noticed a lot of them had a little bit of orange pincher, so if you can see, we're dipping the very ends of them in orange spike it dye. And then finally, which was catching some smallmouth for us, some little guys, but it was coming back and kind of cleaning up the area if we missed it, is this drop shot. The big tangled up top with the big shaky worm. And we're taking it and we're just throwing it out there. Like I said before, each cast would last maybe 30-45 seconds. You just very lightly, you're just shaking the slack. You don't want to move the weight, you just want to move the worm. We'd shake it and we'll let it fall. We'll let it sink down to the bottom. Let it sit a little bit longer. And then come right back and start shaking it again. Ah, thought I had one. Just a little stick. Alright, that's how we're getting bit this week. We're gonna go back out there now. Looks like the rain is just about done. We still got some clouds. We're gonna see if we can get on some fish for you and get them on film. Here we go. They're like a little guy. Yep. Got this thing all tangled up. Not a monster by any means, but I don't know, we can hold him up here. But little, he's smaller than the worm. Very tiny fish, but we're out, same thing you can see out on these, right on the drop off. Just dropped a drop shot down on him and he bit. So we're gonna try and get a couple more little bites for you. Throw the other baits, see what we can get. Alright. There we go. Looks like a decent one. Yeah, a little largemouth. Oh, he's puking up crawdads. I'll show you this fish in a second. Get my rod back. Oh. Alright, you probably didn't see it. We'll get this hook out. He just spit up a crawdad as I was reeling him in. Look how fat he is. He's probably got 3 more of these crayfish in him right now. Some weeds down there. He just puked up a crawdad. Looks like it sank, but bright orange in him. Another, not a monster, nothing like the ones we were catching yesterday, but he's 2, maybe 2 1/4 with that belly. And right, the same grass patch we just caught that smallmouth out of. We went back at him. We caught a couple more little tiny smallmouth about the size of the ones you saw before. And we switched it up a little bit, went with this craw. It paid off with another chunk of a bass. I'll tell you, all the largemouth in this lake are just like this. Big bellies on them because they eat so good. Let him go. Today, just to recap, we had a tough day today. Tougher than yesterday, I should say. But phenomenal lake up here. Thank my sponsors, Maxed Out Baits. That's my company. We were using a lot of those baits today. You saw the Outcast tackle jig, the VCL baits, biovex. We're using some biovex jerk baits out there today. Covering some water. Dark side reels. He always cleans up my reels for me. Denaly rods. I love those rods. And All Sports Heroes. So thank you. Hopefully we'll get another film for you soon. And good luck out there. Here we go. It doesn't feel like a good one. Yeah, another smallmouth. We can swing him in. Yep. He was hooked good, he wasn't going anywhere. You can see, I'll turn the boat. We're right on an island, an underwater island. And we moved up, we weren't getting any more bites off that bluff, so we came out here, we're sitting right on the, right on the drop. Yeah, not a huge smallie. It's maybe almost 2 pounds. But we're getting bit and they're fun. And same thing, same way I showed you before. I thought he hit it a couple times. I didn't even know if I had him, so there may be more down there. But I pulled it out of some grass and I felt him hit it. He put it down and then I felt him hit it again. That's when I hit him, and so we're gonna let it go. Pretty little fish, and then try and get one more on the crawdad. I think there's more down there. We're on a school, so see how it goes.